All right, let's get started. So the first thing is we have to add a movie to our project. I've already opened the project here, named it and saved it, Film Project 2, and I saved it into a location as we like to work on our filing here. If you look at the path, desktop, summer 2018, synthesis 1, Mike Bogle, and then project 2, film, and that's where it's storing the project. So you should try to follow that path, especially if you're using the school computers, but no matter what you're doing, you should have a good project system for filing. Okay, and check all these other boxes down here, and that way your project will all stay together. I'm going to put a 2 at the end of this now because I'm going to make a backup for it. Okay, so the first thing is we're going to import our film. I'm going to go to File, Movie, Open Movie. Then I have to navigate to the folder where I have stored my films. Turner Movies, converted and numbered. And I'm going to use this one called The Kiss Goodbye for this project. It's kind of fun. And again, you can use any movie you want. I can provide these for you because they were provided by the Turner Music Company. Anyway, this says movie frame rate doesn't match the project. So you can either keep the frame rate of 30 or change it to 25. So we'll go ahead and use 30. And there you see your film pops up. You can resize it this way. You can also exit out, and then it just pops up here. Double click it. It comes back larger. And so our first thing is just to kind of look at it and see what's going on. So we see some sort of distress here, and then the man, and we want to look for things we can sync up to. Okay, there's a big old smooch right there, right around measure 8. So I am going to put in a marker here. And the shortcut for that is Option apostrophe and then Shift apostrophe to name it. I'm just going to write Kiss. And some approximate position. Let's go on. And door right there. So we want to right around measure 11, Option apostrophe, Shift apostrophe, door. Okay. So he's going into this castle or whatever. And could do a little something there if you wanted to. Flourish, more sort of crying right here, possibly. Let's move it back a little bit. And we'll put another marker here. Option apostrophe, Shift apostrophe. Oh, that's the wrong one. Let's just do a double click on this marker. I'm going to make my markers larger here. And option click, option G we need a marker line up here. I'm going to make that larger. Now see if I can be successful in double clicking right here where it says this. Yeah, and then this is crying. Okay. So we're just kind of going through and making some markers, assessing it. Okay, this was the other side of the door. And there's some little flourishes with the hat right there. We could try to figure out something with that. And he's thinking. A little troubled. More hat stuff, eye movements. You could even sync up things with those. And that's it. The movie ends there around measure 31. So one thing I like to do is change this to custom. And we need to set the end of the movie, which means we have to further customize the control bar and display, and hit this little button for key signature project end. And the project ends around measure 31 right there. So we're just going to set the end, which normally defaults to 129. I'm going to set it to 31 by just double clicking, type it in, hit return. Because in the film scoring and Logic, the project ends wherever the film ends. It will not go on beyond that. And if you want to make the film longer, you can do that, but you'll have to use another program such as iMovie or Final Cut Pro or something like that to actually edit the film itself. So now we can go in and sort of look for a few little things to put in here to sync up to it. There's a kiss. Let's go over here to our little loops area, and I'm just going to type in the word kiss. And you see it narrows it down. We have kiss 1, kiss 2. Let's try kiss 1. Okay. Not incredible, but we'll try it. Change sample rate to 48. Yeah, let's go ahead and change our sample rate to match the kiss, otherwise it may change the pitch of it. Okay, now we're going to just mess around with this kissing sound, get it to line up as best we can, and then just duplicate it in order to elongate it so that it lasts as long as the actual kiss on screen. Here I'm going to select the fade tool as my command click tool. So that's the tool that comes up whenever you hold down the command key, and then just make some crossfades by dragging across the boundaries of each of these selections. Now we will go to the door and just search for a door sound over here in our loops. I sort of pre-selected this door wood squeak sound, and it works pretty well. Now you can just spend a little time positioning it on the timeline so that it matches the actual sound or the picture on the movie. Now we'll move ahead to the crying sound, and again just search for cry or crying, and there's kind of an art to searching for the right thing. And here are some cartoon crying sounds. They fit the bill pretty well. We can now turn on our automation by hitting A, and so that we can fade out the crying so it doesn't end too abruptly. Now we're going to find like some kind of effect to match the hat on the head. I searched for a whoosh and found a few things. There's an art to searching the right terms. I was looking for something a little more like the cheesy martial arts films where they make the sounds of a sword or whatever. But for now, the whoosh works okay. Now we'll add this nice little Collins Avenue medium jingle. There's a section called jingles in the instruments, and they are fully formed little songs. Of course, the jingles, just like everything in Logic Pro, are royalty-free, and you're welcome to use them to make your own movies and songs. At this point, I'm going to make a fade out by just going to the mix window, create track automation, create volume fade on main track, and just have a nice little fade towards the end of the movie. Always turn off the automation when you're not using it by just hitting A for automation. That turns it on or off. Now we're going to add some strings to the project. Almost any respectable movie has quite a bit of strings in it somewhere. And we're going to try different kinds, some blue loops and some green loops for different reasons. Remember, blue loops are audio, green loops are MIDI, and of course you can use the MIDI loops to set up a sound that then you can either use the sound that's there or make your own sounds with the MIDI, but not with the blue loops. With the blue loops you can only just play them back. And so I'm just searching for some nice mood string music that seems to fit and dragging it over into the timeline. You may want to use some additional automation by hitting A and doing individual track automation to fade out those strings so they don't just end abruptly. Now I'm going to use a green loop string sound so that if I want to, I can play some of my own string effects or sounds, in addition to using the actual performance that's there in the loop window. In addition to or instead of the performance that's in the loop window. Now I'm going to just play a little bit of strings just to add a little something on to the end of that loop. And I'm going to use my other favorite little shortcut, Shift R, capture as recording. Because if you notice, I didn't hit record before I played that little segment, but then I can just hit Shift R and it's like a second chance. Logic is actually always listening to the track that's selected so that you can actually capture what you last played as a recording, even if you hadn't hit the record button. That only works in MIDI, by the way, not with audio. Now let's just take a minute and listen to this 1-minute movie from the beginning and see how it's shaping up so far. You can also always spend much more time on it later on. And so that's it. We're off to a good start. This is enough for a quick version of your project. Would probably get you an A if you had a similar project to this, but you could do much more to it, obviously, and refine it. We're now going to export the audio to movie, and that marries the audio with the movie into a QuickTime file. We're going to name it and choose which folder it goes into, etc. I'm going to put it in with the project in the movie files folder for the project, which the only other movie in there is just the original movie with no sound on it. Save. And now it's bouncing. And for some reason, the computer is taking its sweet time today. So I'm just going to sign off right here and hope you enjoy your film scoring. And I'm sure you will. And look forward to seeing your finished movies in just the .mov format that it creates after it finishes bouncing. See you soon. And as always, thanks for watching.